Welcome to Lokar Car Show. Today we bring you to the pristine mountains of East Tennessee for the Pontiacs and Pigeon Forge Car Show. General Motors discontinued the production of Pontiacs in 2010 because of financial reasons. That means every car you'll see today is no longer in production. That makes these some rare birds. Pontiac has a history with speed from the Bonneville all the way to the late model Firebirds. Today, we'll take a look at a little bit of everything they had to offer. The owners of these cars are some dedicated folks searching for parts to fit a car no longer being produced, whether it was made in 1930 or 2009. Bill Price drove his 1969 Pontiac GTO Judge all the way from Owen Sound, Ontario, Canada, without air conditioning. He enjoys traveling to the car shows, and this is a car that he always wanted. The Judge is a car that many collectors want, and Bill Price's is a little extra rare. Only 293 GTO Judges were made in the convertible body style in the 3 years the Judge option was available.
I purchased it about 5 years ago, and I'm the fourth owner. And it was originally sold new in Syracuse, New York, and came to Canada in 2005, I believe. Yeah. And I bought it in 2010. This is the driver. We enjoy it. We've drove 762 miles to this show, so, and had a good trip, no issues, so I guess that's good. But I always wanted one when I was 21 years old. And well, I'm going to be 70 next year, so so I thought it was time maybe.
The pretty Pontiac you see is a 1974 Pontiac Le Mans Sport Coupe and has been in Shirley Mulkey's family since the car was purchased new. She learned to drive in this car and loves being around the Pontiac people. Listen to the story of this car.
My brother Russell bought this new in June of '74 at Baggett Pontiac in Pell City, Alabama. And the day before Thanksgiving in 1974, him and my cousin got killed in a car and train accident. My mom and daddy drove this car for a few years until I got old enough to drive it, and this is what I learned how to drive. It's a factory 3-speed. It's very special, and we bring it up here to Pontiacs and Pigeon Forge. We love coming up here because it's just like family coming up here, but we really enjoyed coming and being around people that love Pontiacs. Repaint it because the paint had faded off of it from sitting in a lean-to off of the house at home, and it faded, and we had a new stripe put on it, and it's had new tires. But it sat for several years, and all you had to do is go in there and pat the gas, and it cranked up and ran like a jewel. He was 8 years older than me, so I was the tag-along kid, and he'd have to look out after me to keep me out of trouble. And we live in the boonies, and where we live is on Double Bridge Road, and he would take me for a ride, and there's a big old interstate bridge up there, and he'd turn that thing sideways, and it'd just slide, and I think was going off the edge of it. And I'd scream, "Stop, stop, stop," and he'd say, "You tell Mama I will whoop you." People are just so kind and nice. They'll go by waving and thumbs up. It's really nice. It makes me really proud and thankful because I know my brother would have loved that.
Tina Linkus is a Firebird lady, if you can't tell from her 1968. Now this is a resto mod that is a family build. The body, mechanical, and interior work has all been done by Tina, her husband, mother-in-law, and the rest of the family.
My husband and I have had this car since about 2006. We've been working on it since then. 2008 was our first year here at Pontiacs and Pigeon Forge. We recently got a 69 GTO, and I told my husband, I said, well, you have that to work on, so I'm gonna take the Firebird. Because we have two, but mine kept getting pushed to the back of the garage, so I took his, there we go. We've done all the work ourselves, from sewing the seats to the paint work, suspension, engine work, we've done it all. My mother-in-law and my husband, Wade, sewed the seats to the interior. My husband and his brother and father did the paint work. My kids do a lot of the detailing. We keep them involved as much as possible. So it's a family event. This is our hobby. We love it. We do. You have to love it to want to rub on them as much as we do.
Jeff Spencer's love for the Pontiac has been passed down from his family. He purchased this car in 1987 and first showed it in 1989. This is a driver and maybe the oldest car at Pontiacs in Pigeon Forge.
Okay, back in I'd say 1987, somewhere in there, I bought this car out of Fairborn, Ohio, out of the trading post we used to have. My family was into Pontiacs, and I was looking for an older car to restore or hot rod, and I bought it. And like I said, 87, 88, somewhere in that area. Made a hot rod out of it, and we was in the process of trying to do the 1989 Pontiac convention in Dayton, Ohio, so I was in a hurry to get it done for that show, and that was the first show it was taken to. And this show here, we've been coming down here since 2011, and this is the first time I've drove it down and the first time it's been out of the garage in 10 years. It's been parked. Enjoy it. The only thing I wish it had air conditioning, but someday it will have air conditioning.
Bill Newton likes to collect rare cars, and this is one rare Pontiac. It is a 1977 Pontiac Can-Am and is one of 1,377 ever made. Celebrities of the Pontiac world have touched this car. This is another one of those Pontiacs you may never see again. Brought to your living room by Lokar Car Show.
The rarity. I like to collect rare cars, rare Pontiacs, and this is a rare one. They only made 1,377 of them, and so I found one. It's completely restored and went ahead and bought it. Story on Larry Vaquer is a good friend of mine. He restored it. He's been restoring cars as a hobby, and he's cousins to the Vaquers out of Louisiana. So I met Larry when I bought the car, and he and I became good friends. Oh, I love it. This is my 8th year, and it's been growing ever since, and I love it. Just the camaraderie, the cars that are here, the quality of the cars that are here. It's just a great turnout, great ambiance. Have a great time.
We're going to take a break, but we'll be back with more Pontiacs in Pigeon Forge, faster than the Bandit could drive from Texarkana to Georgia. Stay with us. The Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group, is brought to you by ARP, proudly made in the USA, the world leader in fastener technology. Original Parts Group, world-class restoration parts. Lokar, quality, plain and simple. National Parts Depot, make your dream happen. And by Power Probe, an absolute must for your toolbox. Welcome back. Mike Blackburn, the Pontiacs in Pigeon Forge show promoter, is going to tell you a little about the show. There's really something special about this show, and Mike will fill you in.
It's an average number. We normally range between 190 and 250. Weather has been kind of iffy, and it's kept a few people away, but in all, it's been a great weekend. We've have cars from 1939 this year, representing up to 2009, of course, the last year of Pontiac. All the funds that we raise at this event go toward St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We cannot do this show without the help from our sponsors. Sean Green with Firebird Central, he is a tremendous help to us. Without their help, this show would not be possible.
When Donald Hill rolled into the show, many people gave him a funny look. His 1969 Pontiac Acadian SS turns a lot of heads and confuses a lot of those at the same time. This is a Canadian version of a Chevy 2 and super rare in the United States.
Well, I built this engine last winter and put in it. It's a 505 block, been bored and stroked, 660 horsepower. I found it in a catalog. I bought it in Michigan 2.5 years ago. It's a pretty rare car. There's 750 built of them was always built. Well, some of them don't think it's a Pontiac yet. I don't know. I guess they got to get the title out and lay it on the dash or something.
Don't you dare go anywhere. We'll be back with more Pontiacs in Pigeon Forge. It's time for Lokar Lowdown with Kevin Ford.
All right, I'm sitting in the Lokar 69 Camaro RS that Goolsby built for us a couple years ago. When we did that, we came up with a few custom products. Now, Lokar's made door pulls for street rods, and they've been small oval and crescent door pulls that go into your armrest right here. Those just don't really fit the modern style. So we came up with these nice door pulls. They're nice and big. You can get your hand behind them. We offer them, they're machined completely out of billet, one piece, and with a front insert. This insert comes two ways. It'll be wrappable, like this one is for leather, or whatever material you'd like to use. And then we have a billet one that'll be stylized just like the rest of the Lokar products and the Goolsby Edition stuff that you've come to expect from us. It comes substantial mounting hardware, so it's gonna stay on the door when you pull it shut. If you'd like to know more, give us a call, talk to our tech department, or go online and check out our website, and you can find all the information you need.
The next car we're going to take a look at is a numbers-matching 1966 GTO. Jim Norton has been recognized as the original owner and has had the car for 50 years.
Riding down the road one day, looked over and saw it sitting in the showroom in Osceola, Arkansas, and turned around, went back, went inside, and it was the middle of September of '66, and the 1967 Pontiacs were getting ready to come out to the showroom, and he wanted to sell this car because he had a '67 that was going to replace it on the showroom floor. So he traded in a '59 Catalina two-door and obviously some cash, and he financed it for, back then it was GMAC for 3 years. That was the max we could finance it, and it was like $69 a month. I was in the Air Force when I bought this car. I was 20 years old. Of course, I'm 70 today. It was 50 years ago. And me holding in the picture, me holding the baby, that was my first child, and she's now 48 years old. Rare car. Number one, I'm the original owner, and the color on it is, it was a special order paint. The color is actually a 1966 Cadillac Inverness green. And there was an $83.20 upcharge to get this paint.
This 1966 GTO is a race car known as a gasser. Gasser gained popularity in the late 1950s and remained so until the late 1960s. They have recently had a resurgence in popularity. This car is owned and driven by Lee Barnes, but is a shop car. Chad Pierce is here to tell us about it and the motivation behind the build.
Lee Barnes bought the car. The car was built originally around '68 in Chicago, Illinois. It's a gasser. It is a real GTO. He kind of got into it. The gasser's kind of becoming a big thing around the southeast here, and us being into Pontiacs, had to go with the GTO, so he found this car. Been kind of a slow project, but got it together this year, and Lee's been running it some. Car's doing real well, and we're very pleased with it. Kind of a family project, shop project, so to say. Had some people there close to home help us with the car, did a lot of suspension work and put the cage and stuff like that, some of the fab, but yeah, I guess you could say it's definitely a family project.
Don't you dare go anywhere. We'll be back with more Pontiacs in Pigeon Forge. The Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group, is brought to you by Lokar, quality, plain and simple. Proline Tool and Supply, one tool, one operator, no problem. H&M Saw, the saw that cuts straight. LMC Truck, restore, maintain, customized parts and accessories for Chevy, GMC, Ford, and Dodge trucks and SUVs. KBS Coatings, rust stops here. And by Power Probe, an absolute must for your toolbox. Resto Parts Restoration, powered by Original Parts Group.
Here at Resto Parts, we always try to come up with a brand new part that hasn't been available before, or something that people have needed in the market for a long time. This is one of them. The correct clip for the rear body to bumper seal on a El Camino, 68 through 72. And let me show you this beautiful piece, just like original, and it makes the install a lot easier. Next time you go to a car show, you see an El Camino on the street, take a look down this tailgate right here. You'll see a big giant gap if they're not using the proper seal or the proper clip, or sometimes you see rivets or screws, something that doesn't belong there, it doesn't look correct. So I'm going to show you how to install this piece and how to use the correct clip so you can have a perfect restoration. First off, the body seal goes underneath the lip of the body of the car and inside the bumper, and the clip comes out from the bottom instead of from the top. Once the clip goes through the hole, you use a screwdriver, try to protect it so it doesn't scratch your paint, and just easily bend over the clip. Do that carefully to all the clips. Spread it out, and then laying it flat. Once you tuck in your rubber body seal into the bumper, it looks like a great restoration and the proper part to install.
Jerry Wayne Freeman Sr. is the owner of this super rare late model Pontiac. This is a 2001 10th anniversary Firehawk. It was never supposed to be produced. He originally thought the car was a fake, but did some research and will share with you what he discovered.
Yes, sir. It is one of 16 convertibles that was not supposed to be built at all. They were supposed to build only 50 T-top model cars, no convertibles. But my guess is that the man got so great that they produced 139 cars, 16 being convertibles. 9 of those convertibles stayed in the United States. 7 of those convertibles went to Canada. This is number 5 of the 7 that stayed in Canada. It's number 19 of the 139 that was made.
The Pontiac Chieftain was a flagship car for the manufacturer for many years. Chris McPherson chose this 1955 because it was the year that he was born. This car has a few options that are unique to the Chieftain, including the hood ornament.
This car is a midline car, Star Chief in the top line, and my car is heavily optioned from whoever ordered it. So, it has the rear window defroster, has underhood rear light, has a light-up Indian head on the hood. It has a motor lift antenna, they call it, which is power antenna, and of course radio, and under seat heater, which most of them did. And but they didn't put power steering on it, so it makes it a little tough to drive. So my car still is stock engine and transmission, so that's why it leaves spots when I park it. So, but wife and I are enjoying it. Like I said, we've had it about 12 years, and it's still a rolling restoration.
We didn't see many of these cars at the show and wanted to highlight this excellent example of a flagship car. The Grand Prix was one of Pontiac's longest produced cars. Friends John Ringel and Tony Bradford are co-owners of this 1965 Grand Prix that still has the original radio in it.
Well, it's a 1965 Pontiac Grand Prix. It has the original 389 4-barrel engine with a turbo 400 automatic. You can see it's got the Pontiac 8-lug wheels and its bucket seat, console, power steering, power brakes. And this car has the original Pontiac AM/FM radio with the power antenna. as well as tinted glass and air conditioning. So it was a nicely equipped car by 1965 standards.
We pretty much bought the car as a project car. We did a complete restoration on it. Took a little over 5.5 years to do. Me and my papa did it, and went all the way through the car, turned every nut and bolt on it. Yeah, I was 14 years old, and my papa got me into the Trans Ams and Pontiacs. And then just got, after seeing Smokey and the Bandit, you know, really got into the 77, 78 model years. And you know, he owned a body shop for over 50 years, and we decided to try to find one and restore one together. Yeah, it was probably the best memories growing up I've ever had. Being the fact that you know, he passed away just a little over a month ago, this car means more to me than, you know, anything I can think of. But those memories I'll cherish forever.
All right, we have a 1959 Pontiac Bonneville convertible, which we obtained through Hemmings Motor News. It said it was original owner, one owner car. So we put a little bit into it, but it's still a 100% original car. And it was well taken care of in the last 57 years. It was well taken care of.
Make sure to join us next week for a little cross-country action as we join the great race from Cheyenne, Wyoming to Rapid City, South Dakota. We will be bringing you cars and owners from both locations and following some of the racing action through the Black Hills of South Dakota. See you then.